Today we are going to discuss about four foundations of mindfulness. In fact, you have already heard about it somewhat on a practical application while we are discussing about sitting meditation. But we'll give you today a more rounded aspect of it. In English, it's translated as Four Foundations of Mindfulness. In Pali, it's called Satipatthana Sutra. Okay. Discourses on the Satipatthana. Buddha actually talked quite a few times about this discourse during his 45 years of ministry. Some in short version and some in very long and detailed version, long discourses and short discourses. Because this is the main focus, the main essence on a practical level of how to practice Vipassana using full foundation of mindfulness as a tool. So this is the meditation for Buddhists, and Buddha discovered it and he turned around and taught us. So Satipatthana, it's actually two words, sati and patthana. Sati in English is mindfulness. Patthana is places to put upon, or a foundation to put upon, or a group of objects to direct your mind upon. That is patthana. So, in a strict sense, it is the foundations where you can put your mindfulness upon. But as they consist of four, when it translated into English, they put the four in front. Four foundations of mindfulness. In Pali, the word four is not in there. So that is the name, the topics of the meditation that we are practicing, and exclusive to the Buddhism. It's a long discourse. Many aspects are discussed or instructed in detail. But in here, we are going to discuss only the summary aspect of it. Again, I'm going to use the English translated words. The Buddha, in this discourse, started with the benefits of practicing this. The way he said is, this is the only way, monks, for the purification of minds of beings, for overcoming sorrow and lamentations, for the disappearance of pain and grief, for reaching the path, for the realization of Nibbana, namely the full foundation of mindfulness. These benefits we'll discuss separately in another topic or another lecture. And after that, he went on to say, what are the four? Here in monks, a monk dwells practicing body contemplation on the body, ardent, clearly comprehending and mindful, overcoming covetousness and grief in the world. That is his instruction. So let's look at this first one. This is the first group or the first foundation. He said, he always used the word monks, bhikkhu, okay, because most of his audience are monks at that time. But it doesn't mean that it applies only for monks. It applies for anybody who wants to practice this. So, amongst dwells practicing. Dwells practicing means, and here dwells mean, you repeatedly focus, observe, exercise. That's what it means by dwells. Okay? You practice repeatedly. That's what it means by dwell practicing. Body contemplation on the body. Body contemplations mean you are contemplating, okay, of the body. And here, contemplation is the direct contact, direct focus, no intermediary, no reflections, no thinking, no logic, no reason. It is the direct contact with an object, in this case with the body. And that kind of observation, which you go directly to the object of investigation, is called contemplation. No thoughts, no reflection, no imagination, no projection involved. That's what it means by contemplation. And here, body contemplation. Body contemplation is body is in Pali called rupat khanda, okay? Aggregates of matter. M-A-T-T-E-R, matter. Body aggregates of matter. That's what body is. So it covers anything and everything, whatever is physical object, material objects, or physical processes or physical phenomena. And that is called rupa khanda, and also it's translated as body. Okay? The reason is we call it the body because you are investigating it. And you are not investigating throughout the universe. You investigate the body. Okay? The body is all the physical materials and processes that is within the framework of your physical body, your own body. That's why that's called body contemplation. But in a precise word, it is you are contemplating on the matter, material aspect that is contained in this body. Okay? Body contemplation. So now you are doing body contemplation. On where? On the body. It means that you are not going to do body contemplation on other people's body or any other material or an earth disk or a flame or whatever. Okay. On the body, your own body, what you call as you, your own body. Within that body, you are going to observe or contemplate about the body, about the matter, or about the physicality or physical process. That's what is meant by body contemplation on the body. Okay? Very short and precise, but the meaning needs to be understood with precision. If not, you might not be doing correctly. Now we know we are contemplating. We are contemplating about body contemplation on your own physical body within that framework. Okay. And you know clearly now, body in a strictest sense is matter or materiality or physical process, physical phenomena. But in here we refer as body because we are doing that experiment within this framework of your own body. That should give you a very clear understanding about this line. Now, to put it simply, you're observing within this body, within your own body. And what are you observing? You're observing the physicality or the matter that compose this body. That's what you are doing now. And when you're observing, Buddha keep on saying, ardent, okay, mindful, and clearly comprehending. In the translation, you will find as ardent, clearly comprehending, and mindful. It flows well, it sounds well, but in sequence, that's not the right sequence. Ardent is first, mindful is second, clearly comprehending is third. Okay. You're observing. How do you observe? Okay. You can casually observe. You can glance at it. You can look at it and pass by. You can stare at it. And you can really look into it deeply. There are many ways of observing. And whenever you want to look at it very closely and very deeply, wanting to know every aspect of what you are observing, what do you need? You need to apply a lot of effort. You need to apply a lot of effort. And the word ardent refers to that. You're ardently applying effort in that observation that you are making. Ardent. Okay? And you apply a lot of effort, great effort, in doing what? Doing to be mindful. Mindful or mindfulness. Your mind is totally filled and full with the object that you are observing. In other words, your mind is totally concentrating, focusing thoroughly and completely on the object. What is the object? The object is the body. Okay, that is mindful. And when you are doing that mindfulness on the body, you apply a great amount of energy and effort in that process. That is what it means by ardent, mindful. And then finally, clearly comprehending. And when you observe in such a fashion, you clearly understand the object. You know the object, so to speak, from the up and from the down and from the left and from the right and from the back and the front, in every aspect, all rounded completely. Nothing is left out. Everything you need to know about that object, okay, is investigated, documented, put it into the memory, and that is clear comprehending, clearly comprehending. That is the way one need to observe. So this line is the Buddha tells you how to observe. The first one is Body contemplation on the body. And you know now contemplation means without thoughts, without reflection, without figuring out, direct contact with the object, and you are experiencing the object. And when you are doing that, how do you do? Your mind must be totally fixed on that object with a great amount of effort so that you understand in every which way you can. That's it. That's a line. The monk dwells practicing body contemplation on the body, ardent, mindful, and clearly comprehending. To comprehend, to understand, you have to be mindful first. Okay. The first one is what you're doing. The second one is how you are doing. And then the third line comes in. Overcoming covetousness and grief in the world. In the world. So there are so many things happening, whatever a person is. But in general, there are only three ways that is happening, three types. One is actually in physical actions and deed. Okay, physical actions and physical deed. Another one is verbal actions or verbal deed. And the third one is mental actions or mental deeds. These verbal and mental, verbal and physical cannot arise without the thought. Without the thought. So everything is based from the thought, born from the thought. And that's why in this line, Buddha put it very short but very precise and clear. Covetousness. Covetousness is any form of greed, okay? Wanting, desire, craving, attachment, detachment, everything. Every forms of things that you want and that you desire in a thought form. In a thought form, covetousness. And also, covetousness also signifies, okay, wanting it, desiring it in a crooked way, in a wicked way, not in a proper, appropriate, wholesome way. That's covetousness. In other words, it's a lobha. Lobha or greed in a thought form associating with unwholesomeness. And then the grief. The grief signifies the mental nature of mental pain. What is the pain? Pain is anger. Okay, we call it anger, or the word is dosa. Anything that you do not want to associate with, anything you want to destroy, eliminate, push away, that is called dosa. This grief signifies that. So the third one is, why are we doing, or what are we accomplishing? So, going to repeat again. The monk practices repeatedly. What does he do? Contemplating. Contemplating, or let's say, observing without any thoughts or logics or reason. Body, contemplating on the body within the framework of your own body. And how do you contemplate ardently with a great effort? The great effort applying to the mindfulness, so that the mindfulness can investigate every aspect of the object you're observing, so that you have the clear understanding, clear comprehension of that object you're observing. And you're observing that so that you can overcome all that is lobha, okay, desire, wants, craving, and so on and so forth, and grief that represents all the dosa, lobha and dosa. That's it. Just 4 lines, 4 verses, 4 lines, but it covers an immense amount of information with precision for you what to do. That is the first foundation. And the same thing, in the second line, the Buddha said, among dwellers practicing feeling contemplations on the feelings, ardent, clearly comprehending and mindful, overcoming covetousness and grief in the world. So the same thing, except that the object is different now. The first one is you are observing the physicality or physical process or matter. You observe within the frame of your body. And in here, it's the work that you do is called feeling contemplation. Feeling contemplation. So I don't need to go and explain details. In the first verse I have explained it. But this is about feeling. Feeling is in precision. There are only 3 types. One is a pleasant feeling, feels good. Another one is unpleasant feeling, feels bad. And the third one is neutral feeling. You don't feel any difference, totally neutral. That's called feeling. Feelings, contemplation in the feelings. And the feeling is the feelings within the framework of what you say self, not other people's feeling. Cool. Not any other feeling that you can imagine or put forward to. Again, it is within the framework of this self. Yourself, myself, within the self. You don't go outside. So within this, as soon as you say this feeling, that is the mental aspect now. The first one is the physical body, physicality. This feeling is mentality, the mind. You're observing the mind. Actually, it is a part of the mind. A part of the mind. A part of the mind means the mind has 2 aspects. One is consciousness. Okay, consciousness. And another one is called mental association or associates of the consciousness. Consciousnesses mean simply a ability to know, a quality that can know, a function to know. And mental associate is all the extra that can combine with that knowing. Okay, they are 2 separate things, but when they arise together. Depending on the circumstances, a certain type of consciousness arises. Or angry consciousness, or happy consciousness, joyful consciousness, peaceful consciousness. These joy, peace, happy, sad, angry, they are the associates. Consciousness is simply to know. So these are feelings are one of these associated. It's called Vedana. And in here, you contemplate the feelings that are arising within this framework of self. The framework of self. How do you contemplate? Ardent, mindful, clearly comprehending. And for what? To overcome covetousness and grief in the world. So this is a second group or second foundation. The first foundation is physicality. Second foundation is all the feelings, pleasant, unpleasant, and neutral. Two groups now. The second one associate with the mind. The first one associate with the physical body. But they both are within the framework of self. And the third one, a monk dwells practicing mind contemplation on the mind. Of course, you know what next is ardent, clearly comprehending, and mindful to overcome covetousness and grief in the world. So this is another group that you are observing or you are contemplating. This group is what? Mind. Mind contemplation of the mind. The mind is more like a consciousness. Okay, consciousness. And also we just say that feeling is a consciousness. Here is the mind is also the consciousness. But in here is, the distinction is the feeling emphasized on that aspect of how you feel. Pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. And the mind is the nature of the mind. Okay? Sometimes it is the angry mind. If it is an angry mind, you know that it is the angry mind. Or you can call it consciousness, angry consciousness. Sometimes it's a happy mind. You can call it a happy consciousness. Okay? So when you are observing it, you know the nature of the mind. How do you know? Okay? The manifestation of the mind or the manifestation of the thoughts, you can call it a consciousness, is in terms of thoughts. You can't see your mind, you can't feel your mind, you can't see or feel your consciousness, but you can experience it. You can experience it, okay, through thoughts form. That's why actually thoughts are your consciousness. They are the play of the consciousness. They are the expression of the consciousness, these thoughts are. They are ugly thoughts, they are beautiful thoughts, they are peaceful thoughts, they are chaotic thoughts, so many thoughts. And each one is presented by each type of consciousness. So in here, you are contemplating mind contemplation on the mind. Now you know it is within the framework of the definition or the frame of self. Within that framework, you don't go and observe on the others. Within you, it's all within this 6 foot of your body, which is made up of 2 things: physicality and mentality, physical process and mental process. So the Buddha is telling you to observe your mind, know your mind, what kind of a mind, and when they arise and when they disappear. That's it. You observe. Again, how? Ardent, clearly comprehending, and mindful. For what? To overcome covetousness and grief in the world. So this is the third group. The third group is also the mind. Second group is also the mind. The first group is material or matter. And the fourth and the final one, the monk dwells practicing. And in here called Dhamma object contemplation on the Dhamma objects. Okay? Dhamma objects contemplation on the Dhamma objects. How? Ardent, clearly comprehending and mindful to overcome covetousness and grief in the world. So, Dhamma objects, there are many, but at this level, just for the sake of understanding, communicating, and practicality of your meditation, we will put it, your senses, the 5 senses. What you see, seeing, with the ear hearing, with the nose smelling, with the tongue tasting, and with the body sense of touch. Whenever you see, know that you are seeing. Whenever you hear, know that you are hearing. So is to smelling, tasting, and touching. Okay? That's all physical Dhamma objects. Of course, the 6th one, when you're thinking. But one thing is, the 3rd one is so important, Buddha put it separately. The 3rd one, the 3rd foundation, mind contemplation on the mind. So, on the 4th group, we only use these 5 senses. And whenever they are happening, you are aware of it, you are aware of it, you are aware of it. Because those are the 5 channels. Those are the 5 openings or the doors that you go and touch with the world, and that you investigate the world, and that you know about the world. So whenever these points are in a state of activity, one must know, one must know, one must know, one must know. Simply knowing, simply bear attention without judgment, without prejudice, without favoritism. In such a way, one must know. As soon as you put a judgment on favoritism, on blames, on finding fault or prejudice, that is not mindful. Here is ardent, mindful. If you have correct mindfulness, those qualities of prejudice and favoritisms are out of the window. Jealousy and envy out of the window. Anger and hatred and likes all out of the window. As long as you have the correct mindfulness, you see exactly as it is objectively. So in here, that will be at this moment sufficient. Dhamma objects, contemplation of the Dhamma objects, on the Dhamma objects, which means within the frame of this self, this body and the mind, okay, that you are observing. So those are the 4 foundations of mindfulness. And in sitting meditation, I explained to you with practical, okay, on a practical sense on how everything is related to. And when you are observing these things, of course, you know by now, you're not observing the conceptual nature of the body or the conceptual nature of the mind. Okay. Not the concept. It is the ultimate reality or ultimate truth of the mind that you are observing, of the body that you are observing. Only then it becomes Vipassana. And also, you do not hold on to anything. You observe them at the moment they arise, and you stop dwelling on them at the moment they disappear. That's it, just that precise moment. That is how one observes, to understand the ultimate reality of the mind and body. And that is the very short and concise explanation of full foundation of mindfulness. It's a Buddhist meditation. Buddha discovered it and he turned around and taught us, and a lot of Buddhists are practicing this. So may all of you be able to practice this full foundation of mindfulness, Satipatthana meditation, precisely and correctly, and may you be able to overcome covetousness and griefs of the world. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Buddham Pujemi. Dhammam Pujemi. Sangham Pujemi.